Hey guys, it's JR Urban. It is very early on Friday morning, and I'm coming to you from the study lounge. One of the study lounges on my floor, which is why you don't recognize the white wall behind me. um, the weather is dark and rainy, as it has been all week, because weather in Ottawa sucks right now. Apparently it doesn't always suck, but it sucks right now. Heather, this is a direct response to your video on Monday. I am really, really sorry to hear about all the suicides in your school lately. I'm going to get really personal with you guys and share my story, and another story that I feature in fairly a lot. 2 years ago in August, we learned that my friend, a really old friend of mine, had bone cancer. He was 15 years old, and the doctors gave him 2 months to live, and 6 days later he was dead. 6 days after diagnosis. That was about 2 weeks before I started grade 11, and the beginning of the worst year of my life. I had been a really strong Christian before that, and his death rocked me to my very core. I had trusted that God would heal him and make him better in the way that I wanted him to, in an earthly fashion, if you want to say that. So I gave up on my faith. I alienated myself from almost all of my friends. I felt totally alone, because how could the God I had trusted so completely let me down and leave me? And if I couldn't trust God, then how could I trust people? So I was faithless, practically friendless, and majorly depressed. And then my best friend from high school was diagnosed with severe depression, and I walked home from school one day with her and didn't know if I'd ever see her again. It was the most terrifying experience of my life, and I blamed myself. I thought that I should have seen the signs earlier and done something about it, but in all honesty, I had had no previous experience with depression at the time, so it was totally a totally unfounded idea, but I thought it nonetheless. I freaked out when she told me that she wanted to off herself, and I emailed the guidance office at school because I couldn't think of anything else to do, and I felt it was completely beyond my realm of experience and ability to help her, which it was, and I don't know if that was the best course of action, but I was terrified of losing another friend, and I don't know if she's forgiven me for that yet, but that's okay because she's still alive, and that's what matters. That year and many times over the past 2 years, I've thought about suicide a lot, and how it pertains to me and my situation, and also how it affects society in general. There was one day on the 4th of May in 2008. Let me just open it up for a minute. And okay, now this is what I wrote in my journal. I had been going through a really, really low place, and I was trying to find God back, and I just couldn't. So this is what I wrote. God, if you exist, if you love me, take me home. If you don't love me. And I couldn't even finish that thought because there was nothing more terrible than living. I had nothing left to live for. I couldn't see beauty. I couldn't sleep properly. I didn't enjoy food. I didn't enjoy being with my friends anymore. And then 2 days later, I wrote, something snapped inside me in the last 48 hours. I don't know when it was or what it was, but some tension inside me has loosened. I suddenly could see beauty again, and I don't know how it happened, but it did. And then on the 8th of July, which happens to be the birthday of the boy who died, the summer the summer before that in 2008, I wrote, "Wow, I've changed so much. I caught myself thinking just now, suicide has got to be the single most selfish act." And that's when I knew that I was going to be okay. And suicide is, in my humble opinion, both selfish and cowardly. Suicide is the ultimate way to run away from your problems. I know that people who are suicidal have imbalances of chemicals and whatnot in their brains, and I'm not a scientist, I'm a humanities major, so I don't know everything about it, but still, it's running away. It's the ultimate way of not facing your problems and not dealing with your problems. There's always another choice, and there's always someone who loves you, whether you realize it or not. The only reason why I'm alive today is because I had a friend, always at least one friend, who would remind me daily that she loved me and she needed me. And because of her, I'm still here. You know who you are, and I know you're going to watch this. Thank you again. These stories end happily. I'm still alive and loving life. At the end of the summer, I wrote on, the 15th of August, I wrote in my journal, "I can honestly say for the first time in years and years that I am happy with my life. Sure, there are bits of it that I don't much like, but I'm able to look past all that and to see the beauty and excitement that truly living can bring." And also, my friend who was diagnosed with severe depression is doing fabulously. It's been a long haul, and we both still have our moments of breakdowns and whatnot. Sydney, you saw us in the kiln room and the supply room last year at school. But neither of us are dead, and probably not going to be anytime soon. There is hope, guys. I want to extend the same invitation as Heather. Please talk to someone. If you don't know anyone you can talk to, or you don't want to talk to anyone you know in real life, because it's hard to admit that you want to off yourself, email me. You can talk to me. Email me. I'll put my email in my pants, actually on my chest, probably more like from this angle. You can find me on the Ning. My username is JRUrban. I'm on Facebook. There are other ways that you can get a hold of me if you need to. I have experience with this, and I hope I can help. I want to help. My entire life is about taking care of other people. That's a totally different story, but after almost 18 years of it, I'm getting pretty good at it. Next week is question week. The question is, what's your most embarrassing and or crazy story? And as always, I'm JRUrban coming to you from Ottawa. Sean, I'll see you tomorrow. DFTBA.